break something, that's all the better for our side. And I'm sure that's the way Tony Siragusa or anybody else on the Ravens defense would view the play. They're not going to intentionally try to hurt somebody, but if in the context of playing the game of football, I land on top of him, so be it.
I think that about covers it. 2nd and 10, and it is Hoying in. He will hand off to Wheatley, and everybody in the stadium knew that he would be handing off, and Ray Lewis takes him down for a possible loss. Gannon now being taken straight into the locker room.
Yeah, you got to be taken straight into the locker room. And Tony Siragusa, I mean, listing at 330, 340. He might be 350 and 360. And you saw the replays. I mean, he went down and took him down very hard. Another look at Ray Lewis flowing to the hole, attacking the ball carrier, and letting everybody here at Network Associates Coliseum know 52 is going to be here to stay and make it a long afternoon for you if you keep coming my way.
Well, we've got a whistle and a timeout on the field as the Ravens defense calls a timeout, and that's pretty odd. 3rd and 12, backup quarterback against them. They must not have had enough men on the field. Well, things may be turning even too dark for the silver and black right now as Rich Gannon has been taken into the Raider locker room. Bobby Hoying is on for his 2nd snap in his career. That's all he has done. Started some games for Philadelphia, but clearly a backup with just 2 passes this year. Here comes another one stepping up, and it's picked off. Oh no, just what the Raiders feared. It is Dwayne Starks, 6 picks on the year, and he comes up with a big one there.
Hoying showing good poise, stepping up in the pocket here, locks in on one guy a little bit too much. And there's Starks, number 22, saying, ooh, he let it go. This is mine. He was looking for James Jett. Threw it a little bit too far inside. Starks, Johnny on the spot for the interception.
Well, a very difficult spot for any backup quarterback to be in, but you can't turn the ball over. 2 turnovers for the Raiders. The ball on the 21-yard line. Ravens a chance to add to their 7-0 lead. Dilfer hands off to Lewis inside the 20, and that's it.
Well, the Ravens, of course, got all the breaks in the first quarter, had some excellent field position, had a field goal off the upright, could not convert on some great field position. Then they get the big play on the 96-yard touchdown reception with a blown angle on a tackle by your free safety, and all of a sudden with that strong defense and a backup quarterback in the game, 7 points and the possibility of more is looking awfully good for the Ravens and their fans right now.
2nd and 9. Gannon's shoulder being examined in the locker room, we are told. Not much of a hole there, and another yard. That's it for Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis just trying to keep him honest, trying to play a power game of football, run some time off the clock. But on 3rd and 8 now, Trent Dilfer is going to have to maybe put this one up and test that Oakland defense a little bit to see if the Ravens can get up to a 14-point cushion here. 14 points against this Baltimore defense with this offensive personnel the Raiders have right now might be too much for Oakland to overcome.
That is a bleak picture facing the Raiders. They got a hold here on 3rd and 8. Dilfer throws out to the flat. Stokely dives forward, but he will be short of the 1st down. And you would think it's a no-brainer that they'd come on and kick the field goal here.
Yeah, absolutely no need to think about this one at all, as last week's hero, Torrey James, comes up and makes a nice stop. As Brandon Stokely had an opportunity, had a little green in front of him to try to make a move, break a tackle, and get the 1st down, but wound up about 3 yards short.
Well, Stover will have a chance to make up for his miscue. This one from 31 yards. Stover off the right upright on his previous attempt. This one from 5 yards closer, and no doubt about this one, he drills it straight down the middle. So the Ravens can't ask for more. A 10-point lead. Gannon out of the game. Ravens looking rosy for Baltimore. This is Rich Gannon. He was going into the locker room getting x-rayed. He stopped and looked and saw the interception by Hoying. That cannot bolster the spirits. 10-0 Ravens. Raiders on the return. Out past the 30. Into the 32-yard line. David Dunn gives the Raiders their best field position of the game. And as far as first half points allowed, well, the Ravens don't allow you any points anytime, but only 80 in the first half this season.
That's almost incredible. And of course, the Tennessee Titans, they were playing a defensive stalemate until the two big plays, the blocked field goal and a 90-yard return, and the Lewis interception return turned the tides in that game. But incredible all year long that all the teams they played have only amassed 80 points in a half of football. Now you got a quarterback that's only thrown 2 passes coming into this game all year, going against probably the best defense we've seen in a long time.
And he's thrown 1 pass today. That was picked off by Dwayne Starks. Hoying with a short drop will throw it out, and it was intended for Tim Brown, but he took something off it, perhaps a bit tentative.
Might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage as he was throwing it out in the right flat area. Sam Adams was coming in on a rush over there, and the Ravens have to be licking their chops right now. If you're the Raiders, this is trouble. I mean, your most valuable player, the heart and soul of your offense, is getting x-rayed in the dressing room, and you've got to figure out a way to try to attack these guys and get them back on their heels a little bit. And I really don't have the answer because they do everything so well defensively.
You got to think that they smell blood in the water right now. Play action for Hoying. Has time. Completes a short one to Zach Crockett, but for only about 3 yards. They're trying to just get him a completion here or there to get a rhythm going and some confidence.
So it's still 3rd and long. We talked a little bit earlier. Football is not a game of playing not to lose or playing without aggression. And you've got to, at some point in a football game, attack the opposition. I don't care how good the defense is or whatever. You've got to throw the ball downfield and try to do some damage against the defense and keep them honest, to make them know you're there and you're going to fight till the end.
0 for 6 on 3rd down conversions. Hoying steps up. He'll run for it. Gets to the 40-yard line, but a good 2 yards short of the first down. So the Raiders will have to punt again.
You see what I mean by how excellent this defense is? Against most defenses, Hoying is going to get first down yardage getting away. But look at Ray Lewis here. I'm spying your quarterback. I got Tim Brown. Oh, there you go. You're trying to run on me. No, you're not going to make that first down. They just do everything so well, especially close on the football once they commit to a ball carrier.
Leckler to punt again. This one will hit and fall forward to about the 19-yard line, where it'll finally be touched down by Bobby Brooks. Leckler has been busy for the Raiders, and that is not a good sign for Oakland. But wait a minute, Bob Carollo is going to have a holding penalty. Preliminary indicators are against the Ravens, so that will back them up even further, half the distance.
And it didn't matter last time they were backed up and didn't get their goal line.
That's right.
Holding 21, receiving team while the kick was in the air, half the distance to the goal, first down, timeout.
Well, there's a look at the penalty, but everything else is going the Ravens' way. They're up 10-0 in the second. If you're just joining us, welcome, and you're watching the AFC Championship game, the Baltimore Ravens and Oakland Raiders. We're in the second quarter. Mark Brown along with Eric Clemens, and the Raider fans, well, they are showing some signs of concern, and rightly so. Rich Gannon gone to the locker room to have his shoulder examined. Bobby Hoying has come in. They're already down 10-0 against a tremendous Ravens defense. Now it's Ravens ball again as you look at the statistical domination. Ravens already with more yards in the first half than they had all of their last game, which they won, by the way.
And of course, 96 of them on one play.
Jamal Lewis takes it out for 5 yards on first down. Look at the play selection. 12 run and 12 pass. So that is balanced. And of course, the one big pass, the postseason record 96-yard touchdown pass to Shannon Sharp. He took it the final 85 with just his legs. A couple more yards for Jamal Lewis.
Well, the Ravens certainly aren't going to, with 6:16 left or closing in on 6 minutes left in the first half, start playing not to lose. But again, it changes all strategy when you have a defense that plays as well as the Ravens defense plays. It makes your offensive philosophy very conservative. Don't give them too much. Our defense can hold them off the board from here on in.
It's 3rd and 5, and we did just get a report that they're examining Gannon's left shoulder, which I would think leaves open the possibility for a return since he's a right-handed quarterback. Priest Holmes takes it up the middle and takes some big hits and gets the first down along the way. So 3 straight runs by the Ravens, and they get a first down. Keep the clock moving.
Yes, power football. Priest Holmes, little guard pulling on that play, and Priest Holmes comes in. That's Kip Vickers, big backup guard pulling. Flynn out there in the hole at the point of attack, and Priest Holmes breaking tackles, fighting for extra yardage, getting the first down.
5 first down for the Ravens, just 1 for the Raiders. And this is Lewis back in. Dives forward for about 3 or 4, but a flag coming in. Going to go against the Ravens.
These are the things that Brian Billick cannot afford his team to do. Don't take yourself out of good position with silly penalties like holdings and really give the Raiders defense a chance, because one turnover, one key pick or something in an obvious passing situation could swing the momentum back to Oakland, even though Bobby Hoying, their backup quarterback, is in.
77 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Kip Vickers, normally a backup guard to Mulitalo and Flynn, has been in here. Now 1st and 20. At the moment, Vickers is playing the left guard spot for Edwin Mulitalo.
They're just trying to get some more size in there, maybe, to match up against the huge size of the Raiders at the tackle spot.
Dilfer with time, throws it short and complete. It's Lewis out to the 25-yard line. Ball comes loose. It comes right back to Lewis. That's the 2nd time that's happened.
I wonder if they called him down by contact. Really wouldn't have made much difference here. But and you see the little control, a little dink pass right here. Let's let the back, the rookie out of Tennessee, do something with it. And he does. Breaking a couple tackles on the play, which he is so good at. And he was down by contact.
Yep, sure was. There's a look at Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator for Baltimore. A guy who really not getting a lot of ink because of the lack of offense that the Ravens have shown all year long. But they have done just enough today, as well as coming up with a big play when they had to. Priest Holmes swarmed under in the backfield as the Raiders trying to strip the football.
Did you see about 4 or 5 Raiders close in on the right side of the Ravens offensive line even before the snap of that football? They saw formation, they read formation and knew a certain play was coming, and they were all over it. No way that play was going to work unless the running back makes a tremendous play and breaks about 5 tackles.
So it'll set up a 3rd and 6. Now the Raiders desperately need something, some kind of momentum shift here. And maybe some good news from the locker room. Meanwhile, the Raiders call a timeout. Defense wasn't quite ready for what the Ravens were bringing them. So with 3:23 to play in the 2nd quarter, the Raiders call a timeout, down 10-0. A big 3rd down stand here. You would assume that the Raiders really need something to happen here.
It looked like that might have been the similar formation that got them burned for the 96-yard touchdown. And of course, the Raiders defense didn't want to see that one again and not be prepared to do exactly what they needed to do to shut it down.
A beautiful overhead look at what was the Oakland Coliseum. It's been refurbed pretty significantly, taking on a new name, as they often do.
Used to love the way Howard Cosell would say, Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum.
That's right. The people who come here and root on the Raiders just the same, even though a new corporate sponsor has been added in the last couple of years. Here is the 3rd and 6 now. Stokely in motion and then into the backfield. Under pressure, Dilfer has it knocked away. It was intended for Ismail. Eric Allen comes in and makes the play. The veteran, 13-year man out of Arizona State.
Well, I think if you ask Audrey Ismail, he's going to say, I should make this kind of catch. There he goes. Quick pattern. Ooh, in the hands and the gut. and falls out of his hands. In all his career, really, he's had trouble holding on to some of those simpler looking catches, and then later in the game he'll make a big catch and a big play and everybody will forget about it.
Got to credit Dilfer. He put the ball down and away where it had to be. Ismail had to come up with the tough catch. Richardson has a high kick away. Gordon from his 25. Nowhere to go. Still on his feet. Give him about the 34-yard line.
And these two teams are battling away on the West Coast to face the New York Giants, who, of course, earlier on today were 41-0 victors in the NFC Championship game over the Minnesota Vikings. Also, to let you know, half-time couple of competitions for you. You can win yourself some NFL literature. Plus, because it's all about the Super Bowl, we give you the chance to party hardy in London town with the NFL people. Look forward to that.
One of the Raiders backup defensive lineman, or Tony Bryant, the starting defensive end. Very interesting cap there with the hair sticking out. But he wants his offense to get something going now.
Wheatley trying to go wide. Forget about it. Chris McAllister took him down for a loss.
Wheatley is definitely a between the tackles kind of guy. Does not have the speed, especially against this defense, to change directions and try to bust something outside. As you see, McAllister makes him pay right there and says, don't you dare come my way trying to turn the corner.
It has been a frustrating day for Tyrone Wheatley in the Raiders' rushing game. Before that carry, 7 carries for 8 yards. He lost 6 on that, so 8 carries for 2 yards. Hoying scrambles and slides back to about the original line of scrimmage, coming up on the 2-minute warning here in the first half.
Again, I'm just awed by the quickness of this Baltimore defense at getting to the ball carrier once they commit. Tony Siragusa coming around, getting some pressure on, and he does the same thing. There was the play against Gannon that he injured Gannon on. I was going to say, I thought it was a replay of the last pass, because he was looking like he was doing the same thing against Hoying there. The blood on the elbows. I mean, he's a big guy, obviously. He's a tough guy. Some might say he's a fat guy, but he is a presence out there at the defensive tackle.
We are at the 2-minute warning in the first half with Baltimore on top. Well, we don't know what this means yet, but Rich Gannon has come out of the locker room. Hoying is still in on 3rd and 11. Steps up to avoid pressure, completes to the 40-yard line, and that is it. Guess who? Ray Lewis planting Tim Brown.
You're not going to do a whole lot against this team trying to go underneath them and think you're going to have a lot of room for the receiver to turn after catch and pick up another 3 or 4 yards. Against the Ravens, you're going to have to run an 8 or 9 yard pattern if you need 8 or 9 yards. Look at Lewis right there in the middle of your screen. Tim Brown is not a big guy. And when you take a lot of hits like that over the course of a day, you're a little less anxious, or a little less zealous, I should say, to go over the middle and make catches when Ray Lewis is there waiting on you.
6th punt of the game for Shane Leckler. This one hits and drops almost dead at the 20 and rolls down at the 16-yard line where Bobby Brooks covers it. Now, those are the Chucky dolls in honor of Coach John Gruden, and he may be acting like Chucky at halftime. But for us, we'll have the Giants and the Vikings highlights from the NFC Championship game. We'll also, of course, have our first half highlights, and then we'll get inside with John Gruden and find out what makes him tick. And right now, Rich Gannon throwing on the sideline, so you can tell he intends to return. Whether they let him, that's another question.
Well, if they want to get to the Super Bowl, they're pretty much going to have to let him. It's all or nothing here, and Shane Leckler looks like he's limping. Let's see what happened to him after this last punt. Lets it go, nothing really, and now he pulled something on the follow-through of that punt, and that's a big weapon that might not be able to return.
It is Priest Holmes in the backfield. He will get the carry, puts his head down, goes forward, gets about 4 yards where there appeared to be no hole at all.
And here's where great defense makes you do things a little differently. Raiders kind of reaching for balls now, playing a little desperately. You don't have to. It's still only a 10-0 deficit, but this Ravens defense has a way of dominating, so it makes you think you're behind by more points than you are. Defense of the Raiders needs to just stay back, make plays, stay within your game plan, and hope Trent Dilfer makes a mistake to swing momentum your way.
It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 18-yard line. Dilfer hands it off. Not much. Clock is ticking. And now stops with 21 seconds left. And Gruden and the Raiders want one more chance to get the ball back.
I don't understand why they didn't take one, really. After the first play, there's Gannon going back to the locker room now, since he probably won't get it back here at the end of the first half.
A little extra chance for maybe some more treatment in the locker room. Meanwhile, John Gruden is going to have his hands full. You don't want to get behind a team like Baltimore, especially when you don't have an explosive offense, and the Raiders haven't really shown an explosive offense this year. Once again, Dilfer is under 50% on his completions, as he is during this postseason, but he made the big read at the right time. Shannon Sharp did the rest, but you got to credit Dilfer for hitting them in stride on a 3rd and 18.
And he's doing just what he's being asked to do. Not to lose the game for you. Complete the passes you have to complete. Power football, running the football, eat some time up off the clock, and put it in the hands of our defense, especially with a lead.
Well, if they don't get the first down here, expect the Raiders to use the timeout to try and have at least one last gasp before the half. Dilfer flushed out to his left. Gonna go deep down the left side. Has a man. It's Ismail. Flag down on the play. A huge completion. With 10 seconds left, we'll have to check the flag. Oh, it's coming back.
I thought I saw a couple of instances. I thought I saw the Pro Bowler, Jonathan Ogden, absolutely tackle his man out there and throw him down as Dilfer got outside the pocket. And I think the referee saw the same thing.
Holding. 75 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 3rd down.
Well, the good news for the Raiders, of course, is that they're not going to give up points here, most likely.
All right, Reagan Upshaw blocking against the Pro Bowler. Ogden, he gets a hand to the face there, which could have been called. And now Ogden with the old back suplex WWF move in wrestling right there. Throws him down. And in my book, that's a hold. But earlier, there's Upshaw with the hand to the face. That could have been called.
It may have been the frustration of receiving that.
And so all this is for naught. Ismail making a nice adjustment against Dorsett again.
Well, he seemed lost out there. 3rd and 16. This time Dilfer will simply hand it off. Priest Holmes falling forward, and the timeout is used with 5 seconds left, but probably just enough time for a return. There won't be enough time for an offensive play.
Or enough time for an all-out try at a block. You really got nothing to lose. If you rough the kicker even, it's so little time left in the period, probably nothing's going to happen but a kneel down on the ball. So they'll bring everybody, probably won't even have anybody back to receive this punt.
And Darian Gordon would be the man who at one time was quite a dangerous returner. 6 punt return touchdowns in his career, but none this year. Richardson standing in his own end zone, and it will be now 6 seconds. They put one back. And just a long hang time would kill all of that. Of course, they play it out until the ball is dead. Here comes the rush. They came for it, but the kick is away. And it's a good one. And Gordon drops it. They finally cover it, and that'll be it for the first half. One that the Raiders would love to forget, but one that the Ravens, you can't imagine that they could have asked for a better situation. A team that doesn't score many points to have a 10-point lead on the road in the AFC Championship game heading into halftime. The Ravens are 30 football minutes away from their first ever Super Bowl appearance.
How about that if it happens? Yeah, and the thing is, you know, they've kept their game together, and Oakland have come at them but not done any damage. That seems to be the problem.
That's exactly it. Where the Ravens are playing their defense, Oakland cannot figure it out, and they can't get anything going. 10-0 lead for the Ravens at halftime is just where they want to be. And, you know, Darth Vader and Chucky and the guy with the aluminum foil and the dead skull on his shoulders, stuff, they're all dead quiet. And that's the sign that you see that Oakland just isn't in this game so far. That's
right. Great start it is indeed for the travelling team, the Ravens. They're doing it the hard way at the moment. There's a half-time score.
They're not the only ones. Listen to
exactly.
that voice.
I'm struggling on. I'll get to the end though. Have no fear. He'll be with hand signals later. But when we come back after the break, we've got some bits of competition for you to sort out. We've got some literature to give away to you and these party tickets, and there's a little bit of coaching news as well. See you in a moment.
The new 1.2i Corsa with Easytronic gearbox is better than 2 cars put together. Piffle. Now, to test this, I'll need a small car and a big cheese. Dick here is a big cheese with 2 cars.
Automatic for the city, manual for those weekends upstate. So this is an automatic. And hang on. Now, it's a manual. Automatic, manual, automatic, manual, automatic.
Yes, all right. It's not a toy.
The all-new Corsa.
Automatic.
The biggest small car we've ever built.
Buy something in the January sales you won't regret. At Burger King, the original bacon double cheeseburger is at the bargain price of 99p.
Live up to 100 girls at home waiting by the phone. Call 09066 644 644. That's 09066 644 644.
It's militant.
In the AFC Championship game, it is the Baltimore Ravens 10-0 over the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. A very impressive start indeed in that first half for the travelling Ravens. And Mike, the thing about it, they're a simple team. There's not a lot of variety goes on in there, but they
simple and
keep
effective.
working.
They did a nice job of analyzing the way those linebackers, covered and come up so quickly and cut off your options so quickly. But the secondary does a great job. And those 2 big guys in the middle are eating up a lot of space, and plugging up the run, so Oakland can never establish the run. And so really, one bad play by the Oakland defense, who've played very well otherwise, is really the key to the game. And it stems from a good play they made earlier. If we take a look, and we get a nice shot of Trent Dilfer right here. But Trent Dilfer's going to be throwing to Shannon Sharp, and Marquez Pope, the safety, is going to have the coverage. And see how Pope has his body around Sharp and then reaches. See, he's got him covered with the body, and he reaches around and makes the play. And this comes back to haunt him, because right now what he's going to do is the same thing, but he's going to reach around from this side, and he won't have his body between Shannon Sharp and the middle of the field. And remember, Marquez Pope is the safety, so he's got inside responsibility. And see what happens is he winds up reaching around. The other safety misses him. And then the amazing thing is Shannon Sharp outruns. Look at Woodson. They're gaining, but they're not catching him.
Well, his colleagues pushing him home as well, which is the way to do it,
And to me, that's a basketball kind of defense, is when you go like this.
Yes.
And unless you've got, you're not supposed to have the hand on the guy, but unless you have him in control, you can't reach around. Because then what you're doing is committing yourself, but you're not getting your body in there.
He's gone for death or glory, isn't he? He's taken a real risk and he's blown it.
Except there isn't much glory to be got.
No.
Because, you're going for death, but the glory is all you can do is knock the pat. Yeah. It's not like you're trying to get the interception.
And I guess if they're going in at half-time now, certainly if we talk about the Ravens locker room, they're going to have a game plan. And with the game plan including them having a lead which involved a touchdown, this has got to be real.
It's going right according to plan.
Yeah.
Now what they do is you got to not turn the ball over to Oakland. And I can't agree more that Oakland have to be more aggressive. You have to go at the Ravens defense and try to force them into a mistake.
And of course, they've lost their most valuable weapon, or certainly there's trouble with their most valuable weapon.
If Rich Gannon can't come back, or if he comes back at limping or something like that, they're in a lot of trouble, because Bobby Hoying's not going to be the guy who picks this the Ravens defense apart.
Okie dokie. Well, second half coming up in just a few minutes' time. First of all, right, let's get competition number 1 out the way. This is the one for you email-type people, and it's a bit more Baltimore Ravens action for you, in fact. All we really want to know is who the scorer is. You may have noticed a subtle clue slightly earlier on there that Mike provided us. Indeed, the game provided us, if I'm brutally honest with you. The reason I say this is for the email only is because we're going to get this done quickly, because we're going to be playing the Super Bowl competition tickets for the special party, which will be at the Cheers restaurant and bar in Regent Street. So you're probably going to want to be relatively local, because that, of course, is on Sunday night. Who scored that touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens? We have 3 pairs of tickets to give away. There'll also be T-shirts and other goodies to go with it. And this is where you send your email to nfl@sunsetbind.co.uk. We'll get this all sorted out by the end of the week, so get it in now, though. nfl@sunsetbind.co.uk. Who was that scoring for the Ravens? If you could be in London, or you are in London for Sunday night for Super Bowl, it's Cheers in Regent Street.
Night.
It is, but fun.
Oh, of course.
There may be drinking involved, apparently. It can occur. It's official. Let's go with it.
And then the bar opens till 7 and stays open till closing.
Yeah, it's got a certain ring to it. It has got a certain ring to it. So perhaps you might even want to try it, even if you're not that close to London. Now that Mike's just put the cherry on the cake.
For medicinal purposes
only. Yes, I'll be gargling a little bit later on. But for now, we can step away from the post-season, because as always happens at this time of year, we've already spoken about a couple of coaches hitting the merry-go-round. There's another new coach involved, but he's come from a slightly different place, isn't he?
Well, he's only moving a few miles down I-80 is the way it works. From St. Louis to Kansas City. We talked about this last week, because it was being rumored at that point. But Dick Vermeil is basically going into the to take over as the Kansas City Chiefs coach. Paul Tagliabue made another decision on the compensation, which was a 2nd and a 3rd round draft pick. Probably fair, because Vermeil wasn't actually coaching St. Louis, but he was under contract for $500,000 a year as a consultant. And there is the rumor going around that, you know, he wanted to go last year to the Chiefs, but obviously couldn't. So this was sort of like a 1-year hiatus before he could take over.
But the league intervened in this one. It wasn't a deal that was done between the 2 clubs.
Well, the last 3 times that the coaches have been under contract, the leagues had to intervene. In the case of Bill Parcells, he was actually coaching, and Bill Belichick was actually coaching. So those were 2 guys where they gave 1st-round picks. But in the last 2 cases, which is Washington hiring Marty Schottenheimer, and now Vermeil going to Kansas City, they were only on consultant contracts, so the compensation wasn't quite so.
So the deal got done then, and we have a new coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Dick Vermeil was there to answer questions about his new appointment. First question that was asked of him: when did he start missing the game?
Actually, January 2nd, when Carl Peterson and Lynn Stiles and Lori Peterson showed up at the house and started discussing it, because I hadn't really seriously thought about it at any time and never planned to go back. Both he and Lynn told me a lot about myself, which I had to answer yes to most of their questions, describing me and what I believe in and what I really like to do and all these kind of things. It all revolved around, you know, being a football coach. And we talked about relationships, we talked about need, we talked about a 3rd time, attempt, being together again, all these different kinds of things, which, you know, I'm easily inspired. What I wanted to do today was really just let people know how much I appreciated the entire situation within St. Louis, and I wanted them to know that there was no malicious intent by me when I left that football team. I had every intention of staying retired, and the Rams made it very possible for me to live comfortably for 4 years after retirement, and I just wanted them to know that. Everything we did in St. Louis was done as an organization. Management staff, ownership, personnel department, you know, coaching staff, and real talented football players. And I happened to be the figurehead of it all, but really it was done by everybody.
So he's back, yeah.
He didn't cry, at least.
Took it very well, didn't he, I think? He looks very pleased. I suppose the question now is, does he start kind of plundering St. Louis to
well, it's going to be easy to do, because they fired a lot of the coaches. You know, Pete Junta, the defensive coordinator's gone. There is the rumor that he's talking to Mike Martz about bringing Martz back as his offensive coordinator, but I find that highly unlikely, unless there's something, you know, psychologically in Martz's profile that none of us are aware of. But I can't see him going from being a head coach of the Rams to being Vermeil's assistant again.
St. Louis can't unravel that quickly, can they? That dramatically, surely.
You wouldn't have thought so, but they really didn't need did need a change, and that team was assembled by Vermeil with guys who would play his kind of way. And Mike Martz may not be able to drive some of those guys the way Vermeil did, and not get the same kind of performance out of them. And that's something that he's got to consider.
So perhaps the fresh start for both Kansas and St. Louis is what's required in this situation then. Well, we'll find out about that next season, of course. That's a lot further down the line. What we've got when we come back is another competition for you and the second half of our championship game.
Someone's been on the Ovaltine.
In the future, you'll be able to tell Orange to turn on your lights, your heating, your music, even your washing, whether you're near or far. The Orange Home opened last December. It and our share offer this February are just part of our Orange print for the future. To register for a prospectus, call 0800 085 8888 or visit our website. The future's bright. The future's orange.
You've got a blocked nose. Your whole world's blocked up. You take clinically proven non-drowsy Sudafed, and it could disappear. And if you've got sinus pain as well, there's new Sudafed Dual Relief. How clear do you want it to be?
Someone's been on the Ovaltine.
Well, the Giants are in the Super Bowl and then some, 41-0 in the NFC Championship game over the Minnesota Vikings. That's some going. AFC game, though, still to be decided. Half of it still to go. Baltimore Ravens are in Oakland and they're 10-0 up at the moment. Straight to that game in a moment's time. But first of all, our second competition, literature time for you. And we've got some beauties, courtesy of the sports pages, getting stuck into the NFL books. Got a Giants book. Got a Raiders book.
And for you Giants and Raiders fans, the lines are really big, so when the Crayolas go, you won't get the orange crayons over the red ones. Yeah.
Dirty. He won't commit to what team he would be, therefore saying he kicks.
Oh, that's a good book.
But this is the other one that we're talking about as well. The Friday Night Lights, Mike. This is about college football, yeah.
It's about high school football.
Yeah, all right.
In Texas, where they play on Friday nights and draw 25,000 people to a game.
Superb. So there's 3 separate prizes. You get to choose the book that you fancy. If you got the right answer.
Imagine if you're a Raiders fan and you won the Giants book.
That's exactly what you want, isn't it? That really is. But Mike will now ask the question for you, or pose it for you.
And the question is, this season, who became only the 2nd player in NFL history to catch 1,000 passes in his career? Who passed the magical 1,000 reception mark this season?
There you go, that is the question. And you can write to us for this one. You can use that same email address as you can see there. But to write to us, Super Bowl Competition 2, the book, is P.O. Box 2045, London W1A 2WD. Super Bowl Competition, P.O. Box 2045, London W1A 2WD. Specify on your answer which book you'd like to win if you are, in fact, one of the winners. Okie dokie. There you go. There's 2 nice competitions for you there. I hope you got all your information down for that one now. There's another nice little competition going on at the moment to see who can actually win their way through to the Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens have their noses in front of the moment. Sorry, that's a beak. And that is 10-0 over the Raiders. Let's go back now and join Eric and Mark once again.
Sebastian Janikowski is on to kick for the Raiders. It will be Corey Harris deep, not too deep, from the 19-yard line, and he takes it as one of the up men. And at the 35, so more good field position for the Ravens. As we take a look at the halftime statistics, no points obviously for the Raiders, but they've managed almost no offense at all.
Really no offense whatsoever. Only 38 total yards. 177 is more than the 134 net yards that the Ravens had in winning last week. So they have to feel pretty good about their ball control attack. And look at Shannon Sharpe this postseason. Only 5 catches, but averaging almost 45 yards a catch, and it seems like every one has been a huge one.
3 of those catches have gone for more than 50 yards, 1 in each game. Game breakers, all of them. Misdirection handoff straight up the middle, but Greg Biekert wasn't buying. He took down Jamal Lewis for maybe a 1-yard gain.
Take that 96-yard play away from the Ravens, and they haven't done a whole lot offensively themselves. But as they proved last week, with only 134 net yards and 6 first downs, they don't have to do a whole lot with the defensive football team they have. A couple of Pro Bowlers like Lewis and Woodson on the defensive side of the football.
So a 2nd and 9. Now the I formation behind Dilfer. Continues to do just enough. Blitz coming. Under pressure. Dilfer is going to go down in the arms of Darrell Russell.
Darrell Russell coming up with a big play, but still, this Raider crowd not as frenetic and frenzied as they were at the start of this football game. They know football, and if you know football, you know this is a nice play by number 96. Grady Jackson flushes him out of the pocket. Darrell Russell there to clean up and force a 3rd and very long.
A loss of 10 yards on the play sets up a 3rd and 19. Last time they had a 3rd and long, it turned into a 96-yard touchdown to Shannon Sharpe. From their own 26, Dilfer steps up, throws across the middle, intercepted. A huge play by the Raiders defense. Johnny Harris.
Johnny Harris steps in front, and that's what they wanted. That's exactly what they wanted. Is Chuck Bresnahan clapping, you see there in this Raider crowd back into it. Brian Billick not feeling good about it at all. You want to try to force Trent Dilfer into these situations because most games he'll make a key mistake. Throwing into coverage right there, he doesn't notice the defender Johnny Harris coming over, and at the last minute there's Harris in front of Ismail, and Harris coming up with a big interception and a momentum changer. You got to get at least 3 on a turnover like this.
From the 40-yard line, Gannon on the pump fake. Going to go out to the left side. He threw it short, and Jeremy Brigham couldn't keep it off the turf. They say that ball was incomplete.
Now you got to wonder, when he throws a pass like that with that little zip on it across the field, you got to wonder if the left shoulder is bruised and affects follow through on long throws like that back across to the other side of the field, because that one looked like it had absolutely nothing on it. It looked like you or I might have been out there trying to throw that sideline pattern.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but that ball did look as bad as if maybe I threw it. Tyrone Wheatley, the single back. Gannon to throw again, under pressure, drops it off short. This time Brigham has it, and he has first down yardage inside the 25. But a flag on the play.
Oh, and penalties against your offense will really kill you in a situation like this. No, a roughing the quarterback play.
Wow, you can tack on 15 to the play.
And Brian Billick going, no, 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 this is exactly what we don't need here. We got a great defense, make them earn their way down the field. Here's Gannon on the follow-through, and coming up from behind is McCrary, who really gives him a shot well after the throw. And the completion to Brigham, who makes a nice catch and run for the first down. That's the first time Raider receiver, after the catch, has had the chance to really turn upfield and pick up some additional yardage.
Well, he got it down to the 23-yard line, and they're going to tack on the 15 yards, which becomes a half the distance to the goal penalty. As we look, the Raiders prior had just 1 penalty for 5 yards. Rather, the Ravens are the ones who would come up with the big ones. And 1 big one there. It's going to be at the 12-yard line. 1st and 10. A re-energized Raider group after the turnover. The give is to Wheatley, up the middle, inside the 10, down to the 8.
This is where it's gut check time, really. It's time to get back into this ball game and to show the Ravens that you're here to play as well. The Raiders seem a little bit more crisp, a little bit more physical, a little bit more determined right now. They're not going to be intimidated, it looks like, on this drive for an entire game by this excellent Ravens defense.